Hey TikTok, this might be a little longer video, but I would love to hear from you guys if you want more of this. But someone had this great idea. I'm doing my annual Halloween movie countdown, which I do every year, and I have so much fun compiling the list and adding new movies and swapping movies out and all that kind of stuff. But somebody messaged me and said, you should do a book countdown because you have enough of them. And I thought, oh my gosh, I do have like 48 books out and I never talk about them. So I thought I'm not going to do it every day. I don't think, I don't know, but I thought I would talk about some of my books and maybe read you a tiny little excerpt of my favorite part. So first up, I thought we would start with Nightwalker because it was my first book and it has had quite a few different iterations as far as covers go. So this was the first one when it first came out, obviously very glossy cover, right? Very nice. And the tagline is, he gave up his soul for a second chance to love her. So anyway, vampire book. Then it got a mass market trade paperback release. And this one has really cool cover comments. Hot romance and cool characters make Nightwalker an all-night read from #1 best-selling author Kelly Armstrong. And another one, a stellar first novel with heart-stopping suspense and a hero to die for from New York Times bestseller Angie Fox. So, of course, I was super thrilled, right? But we still have Callisto's sexy abs. All right. And then it got foreign rights bought for a French translation. So he's La Marchère Nocturne for the Nightwalker. But I did like these covers. They made their own series logo that kind of looks like a Mayan calendar-ish, sort of. And then they put the San Diego skyline on there. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then this is my new re-release of Nightwalker. Still same tagline, he gave up his soul for a second chance to love her. And I also have a 10th anniversary hardcover edition, which I should be sure that's in my online store on my website. I will double check that. But if anybody wants a signed copy of the 10th anniversary edition, I wrote a new foreword for it and also included some short stories that I've done about Callisto and Kate from my Patreon. And if you don't know about my Patreon, it's in my link tree. I write a new short story every month there. So my favorite scene in Nightwalker happens about halfway through, and this is the scene where Kate has been mugged by the evil bad guys. There's these monks from the Fraternidad del Fuego Santo, and they know about Nightwalkers, and they know that Kate is the reincarnation of Tala and that Callisto wants her, so he has pushed her away, as heroes often do, because he thinks she'll be safer. But anyway, they attack her. He kills the attacker, and but anyway, she's in need of some medical attention. Callisto, the sound of her voice shocked him back into the moment. He turned and knelt beside her, hoping to block her view of the carnage that only moments ago was her attacker. "I am here," he whispered. She nodded and her eyes drifted close. She lost consciousness. His hands trembled, inspecting her wounds. He couldn't bear to lose her again. If only he had gotten here sooner. He smoothed her hair back, looking over her bruised face. Other than a split lower lip and a minor scrape on her cheek, a bump on her forehead. Otherwise, she seemed unharmed. The haze of panic and rage gradually thinned. He needed to get her far from the crime scene before the police arrived. He couldn't risk having any connection to the bizarre death they were going to find plastered against the wall of the old liquor store. After retrieving her purse and car keys, he scooped her up into his arms. Slowly, he scanned the perimeter for any sign of a security camera. The yellow street lamp sputtered, apparently the only witness to Kate's attack. Satisfied they hadn't been seen, he carried her to the old Volkswagen convertible. Looking down at her face in the moonlight, his gaze strayed to her mouth, part of him sickened by his own attraction to the blood that pooled on her lower lip. The scent enticed the beast inside of him, raising his thirst, and seeing its rich redness on her sensual lips was almost more than he could bear. It awoke the predator in him, and right now he wanted nothing more than to be a mortal man again, a man who could offer her the future she deserved, a man she could love. Forcing his gaze from her face, he reached to open the passenger door of her car, frowning when it only opened a couple of inches. He tugged, but the door pulled back. He bent closer to the car and found the cause of the problem. The sound of his own laughter surprised him. He forgot about the elastic band tethered to keep the door closed. Dear God, what a mess of a car. He almost heard her telling him again that she was restoring the car and it just needed a new passenger door. Shifting her slightly, he held her in one arm and reached inside to unclasp the elastic strap from the door handle. When he took a step back, the door creaked open. He carefully lowered her into the passenger seat and reattached the elastic bungee strap to hold the door closed again. He stared down at her for a moment, wanting to heal every cut on her soft skin, but he couldn't, not yet. He needed to get her and the car far from this place so neither he nor Kate would be implicated in any way with the gruesome murder site. It also meant he would have to drive. I'm going to break the fourth wall here and let you know that my immortal Nightwalker, who is 250 years old, is also super rich and has never learned to drive a car. And her ancient VW Bug convertible is a stick shift. All right, back to the story. It also meant he would have to drive. In all his years, he had never driven an automobile. The closest he had come was watching various assistants through the years as they chauffeured him. He wasn't sure he could even remember how to start the car, but right now he had no choice. Grudgingly, he got in the driver's seat, and finding the lever underneath, he pushed it back so he could comfortably fit behind the wheel. After trying 3 different keys, he found one that slipped into the ignition. From what he had seen over the past 100 years, driving was not that complex of an operation. He was an immortal, with reflexes far more keen than a human. How difficult could it be? He turned the key and nearly jerked the wheel off of the steering column when the car surprised him by lurching forward. The car went silent. The engine wasn't running. What was he doing wrong? He stared at the gear shift, wondering if he should move it. His frustration reared up, but his agitation would not make the car drive itself. He had to keep a cool head. Not knowing what else to try, he pushed one of the pedals at his feet to the floor and turned the key again. This time, the car didn't move. He found the clutch, you guys. And it roared to life. Grasping the gear shift, he jammed it into the first position and glanced over at Kate. Why couldn't she have owned a car with an automatic transmission? Shaking his head, he put some pressure on the gas pedal and slowly released the clutch. Thankfully, the car rolled a few feet, but without warning, it jumped forward. He pressed the clutch back to the floor before the engine lost power again. Callisto slammed his hand against the wheel, muttering under his breath in Spanish. At this rate, it would take him all night to drive her home. The faded yellow convertible pitched forward again, threatening to stall as he continued out of the parking lot. Thankful it was late. The streets were fairly empty. At least he wouldn't get into an accident with another car. Her car staggered ahead, lurching every time he tried to release the clutch, bouncing and jostling them until Kate finally stirred and woke up. Are we out of gas or something? Callisto watched her with a tight smile. Not exactly. Kate winced in pain. You can't drive a stick shift, can you? Does it show? Callisto pulled over and finally allowed the engine to stall. So I'll leave you guys there. But anyway, Nightwalker is a obviously reincarnation romance with vampires that are based on Mayan mythology, and there are 4 books in the series, and I would love for you to check it out. Links in my bio. Bye!